If you're a PhD student, you know this feeling all too well. All the research is finally done, the data's in, but now you have to face the final boss, the thesis itself. So in this explainer, we're going to break down how to turn that scary blank page into a clear, actionable blueprint.
Yeah, does this look familiar? That cursor, just blinking and blinking, kind of mocking you, right? It feels like you're supposed to build this massive mountain from scratch. But here's the thing, you're not. We're going to show you how to build a solid foundation first so that writing your thesis feels less like climbing an impossible mountain and more like following a map you drew yourself.
So here's our game plan. First, we'll talk about everything you need to do before you type a single word. Then, we're going to get into nailing the narrative. After that, we'll cover how to be guiding your reader through the whole thing. And finally, we'll wrap up with the feedback and polish. Let's get to it.
Okay, first up, laying the foundation. This is all the prep work you do before you even think about writing prose. I mean, you wouldn't just start building a house without a plan and the right tools, would you? The exact same logic applies to your thesis.
First things first, your tools. Now, you might be tempted to just use what you know, like Microsoft Word. But trust me, trying to manage a document that's over 100 pages in Word can become a total nightmare. Headings, references, figures, they all start to have a mind of their own. The alternative, and what most people recommend, is LaTeX. It's literally built for this kind of work. It handles all the formatting automatically so you can focus on what actually matters, your ideas.
So, once you have your tool picked out, the very next step still isn't writing. Nope. It's actually more research. Think about it. Before an architect designs a new building, they study other great buildings. You need to do the same thing with other successful theses in your field.
So what's the magic number here? You're going to want to find about 10 to 15 really good example theses from your specific research area. Now, you don't have to read them word for word, cover to cover. Just skim them. Pay really close attention to how they structure their introduction. This is going to give you an invaluable template for how to frame your own work.
All right, our foundation is set. Time for Section 2, Nailing the Narrative. This is where we move from gathering tools to actually designing the blueprint. This is where we architect the story of your thesis.
This is maybe the most important mental shift you have to make. You've probably worked on a few different papers or projects over your PhD, and they might seem, well, disconnected. Your job now is to find that golden thread that ties them all together. You're not just stapling papers together, you're weaving them into one single compelling story. If your thesis is a building, then your introduction, that's the grand lobby. It's the very first thing your examiner sees and it sets the tone for everything else. Seriously, a lot of people see it as the make or break chapter. You really want to invest your time here to make that first impression a great one.
So, how do you build a killer introduction? It really boils down to these three pillars. First, a crisp problem statement. Just get right to the point. What's the concrete problem you solved? A few lines is all you need. Second, put your contributions right up front. Don't make the examiner dig through chapters to figure out what you did. And third, mention your publications. This shows your work has already passed the test of peer review.
Okay, the blueprint is designed, but a big, complex building needs good signage, right? Otherwise, people get lost. Now we have to think about how we guide our reader through this massive document we've created. Let's just be honest with ourselves. A PhD thesis is a very, very long document. It's so easy for a reader to get lost in the weeds. As the slide says, navigating it can be a real challenge. So it's your job to be a great tour guide.
And one of the best tools for that is something called a thesis organization figure. It's super simple. You just include a little flowchart right in your introduction that visually maps out the whole document. It shows how each chapter connects to the next and basically gives your reader a roadmap for the entire journey.
And that roadmap needs to connect everything together smoothly. Your chapters have to flow logically. Think of them like rooms connected by hallways, not just separate buildings on a street. Each one should build on the last and set up what's coming next. You want a smooth, guided tour, not a series of jarring jumps.
All right, our structure is built, the pathways are clear, we are in the home stretch now. It's time for the final inspection and those all-important finishing touches.
Now, here's a huge mistake you want to avoid: waiting until the entire thesis is written to get feedback. That is a recipe for disaster and massive, soul-crushing revisions. Instead, you want to use an iterative process. As you finish each chapter, send it to your supervisors. That way, you catch problems early and make small corrections as you go.
You know, this might seem like a really small thing, but it matters. It matters a lot.
After years of brilliant research, the absolute last thing you want is for your examiner to get distracted by simple typos or grammar mistakes. It just subtly undermines all your hard work.
So here's the rule. It's non-negotiable. You have to thoroughly proofread the entire thing at least twice before you submit. Read it out loud, have a friend look at it, use proofreading software, do whatever it takes. Don't let tiny, fixable mistakes overshadow your incredible achievement.
And that brings us to the final thought. Look, you can follow all the rules, build a perfect structure, and polish every single sentence. But at the end of the day, a thesis is more than just a document. It's the story of your intellectual journey. So when you're ready to submit, just ask yourself this one last question. You've built the house, sure, but have you told the story? Because that's what truly makes all the difference.